Hello everyone. I just want to say I'm firstly coming on here filming this intro post video. I know all my feelings about these books already. This is my first TBR Takedown video. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I was a little bit disappointed, but we have wiped 3 books off my physical TBR. I literally cannot believe it. That sounds so silly because when I mentioned I would be doing this series, it was a while ago, and I know you're going to be seeing this in October, and I'm fairly certain it was August that I said I'd be doing this series. And these TBR books are from September. And I'm gonna be the first to say that I did not finish my September TBR in September, despite the fact there was only 5 books on there. But hey ho, things happen. But I am delighted to share this video with you. We have 3 really cool books to read this week. We have Not Quite Dead Yet by Holly Jackson, we have Hello Stranger by Katherine Center, and we have The Baby Dragon Café by A.T. Qureshi. This was the first book we read. This was the second book we read. And we also read The Baby Dragon Café. Now, I hope you enjoy this video. It will look a little bit different, the background, as we go through the video, as like I've mentioned to you previously, I started a new apprenticeship, a new career, and I'm spending a lot of time in a hotel at the moment. I'm only at home on the weekends, hence the fact that this intro is filmed after the fact, because when I get home I just have a lot of washing to do, and so a lot of my time is taken up doing that on the weekends and just chilling and relaxing and decompressing, so I'm sure you can understand. But that is today's video. Sit tight, grab a drink, get cozy, let's do some reading. I am currently having puppy snuggles, so this is why we're doing this first impressions right here. So I am 28 pages into Not Quite Dead Yet by Holly Jackson. This is her newest release, and this is her first adult thriller. I have a really funny feeling this is going to be a bit of a slow burn, but everything that's already happened has already happened. Does that make sense? So that doesn't make sense at all, I know it doesn't make sense. So this book is about Jet, who gets attacked, is in a coma, and she has X amount of days to figure out who did it, who attacked her. She doesn't trust friends, she doesn't trust family, all sorts. 28 pages in, Jet has already been attacked. So we are, I don't want to say too much and spoil it because this is a very new book, but we're already at the point where decisions are going to be made about Jet's health and like really important medical decisions. And so there's really nothing much to say at the moment. This is reading like a Holly Jackson book, I will say that, but it's been so long since I've read anything of hers that I need to get back into it. The last book I read of Holly Jackson's was The Reappearance of Rachel Price, which will be in this video here. You can go see my opinions of all the Holly Jackson books. I have a whole video dedicated to her works. I didn't really like the writing and the way the plot went in The Reappearance of Rachel Price. I feel like it was incredibly plot holy, is the best way to put it. And so I'm really hoping that because this is an adult book, like an adult thriller, that it's going to be better. The one thing I will say is though, I'm loving the font. And I'm loving reading hardback again. I feel like it's been so long since I've had a hardback in my hands. I don't know if you can see either. Hang on. Can you see the bubby? There's the bubby. She's come in for a proper spoon snuggle. So I'm gonna cover her back up. Anyway, I will probably update you when I'm like a good chunk of the way through. I'd like to say halfway through because I feel like that's quite a good point to check in with you. But initial thoughts, I'm enjoying it. I want to keep reading. I'm intrigued, but I don't think I got enough information at the start to be already making theories up. I do have one theory, but it's so out there that I don't know. I'm not going to spoil it, but I will obviously tell you at the end of the video whether or not I was correct. But yeah, let's carry on reading. I don't know how long we're going to read for, but we're going to carry on reading. And I shall check back in with you, hopefully not laid down with a puppy asleep, at some point later today, maybe even tomorrow. Not that it matters, I'll speak to you when I speak to you. Okay, it's update time, it's official. I am 50% through, not quite dead yet. So I am halfway through. Yeah, I'm 50% through, page 224 of 422. I'm just gonna tell you now, I'm fully under the impression that it's Luke and Sophia. Like, and I actually think I said this to Megan when I was maybe on chapter like 7 or 8, and I'm now chapter 20. There's nothing specific, and I won't give any spoilers, but my goodness me, we're on a roller coaster and I can't seem to put the thing down. Holly Jackson has definitely redeemed herself after what I call a shocking reappearance of Rachel Price. The plot holes. Anyway, this book is absolutely fantastic. I'm loving the main characters. I'm loving the emotions that it's pulling from me. Jet's mother, Luke and Sophie, I actually get angry reading this because of how they are. Jet's dad, on the other hand, lovely man. Jet's best friend who's helping her solve all of this seems to be lovely, but I do have a feeling it might be him though. Do you know what I mean? Like when something's too obvious, or it's so not, like it can't be him, but it is. Do you know what I mean? I've just got that little like niggling thought in the back of my head. I don't know if this is going to be 5 stars, but I have a strong suspicion this is going to be at least 4.5, 4.75. The ending could change everything. The plot twist could change everything. I don't know. But I see, the thing is, I don't know if I'm going to finish it today. That wasn't even English, was it? I don't even know if I'm going to finish it today. I want to, but let's be realistic. So I'll probably just come back to you when I'm done, I'm not gonna lie. Unless like something significant happens and I need to speak to you, I'll speak to you when we're done. This is incredibly juicy and I'm loving it. Also loving reading a hardback for the first time in so long. Oh, I hope everyone's having a wonderful day because I know I am. Good morning. I am not as far through, not quite dead yet, as I would like to be. But let's talk about it anyway. There you go, nearly halfway. Okay, let's talk. I am not anywhere near as far through Not Quite Dead Yet as I want to be, but we are on page 256 of 422. Not too bad, right? Not too bad at all. That's what, 170 pages? Things are getting really juicy. I stand by what I said. I think Luke has something to do with it. I think Sophia has something to do with it. But apart from that, I have absolutely no idea. Yeah, I'm not giving anything away because I actually think so far this is a blooming brilliant book. I think Holly Jackson's done it again and I'm thoroughly enjoying it. I am going to sit down Thank you. I am going to sit down this morning and read. It is 9 minutes past 8. So, got a nice day ahead of me. Bit of reading, bit of editing. That's the plan, isn't it, Marjorie Jane? I'm going to go before everything gets destroyed by these two coming for a cuddle. and she'll talk to you. Bloody hell. When I'm probably at the end. I said that last time, but I just needed to pop in and say this is absolutely fantastic. It is most definitely on the way to being a 5-star book, without a doubt. Hello everyone. So yes, I am in my hotel room. Yes, I've started a new book. So I am however many days into my first week of my work course, or my new job course, and I've had quite a bit of time to sit and read. We have started Hello Stranger by Katherine Center. Now this is about Sadie Montgomery, who has some unfortunate things happen to her and she ends up face blind, falls in love, and she has to navigate her new life without being able to recognise faces. She is a portrait artist, sod's law, so she's entered a competition, but now she can no longer see faces to paint them, so she also has to navigate that. We are actually 118 pages in, I believe that's around 37% of the way through. When I first started reading this, I just felt like we had too much context. And now we're finally 100 pages in. I feel like so much more has happened than only 100 pages, which sometimes I like, but in this book, I just feel like it's taken me so long to get to 100 pages because there's been so much going on. Now, I don't think this is going to be a 5 stars. I don't think this is even going to be a 4 stars. I have a feeling this is going to be around 3.5 stars. So far, my least favourite Katherine Center book, but I have yet to read The Love Haters, so I guess we'll see. But we are obviously ticking off another book on our TBR. Don't tell anyone, but I did just buy 2 books from Tesco. I know I said I wouldn't, but they were on offer. I found the Baby Dragon Bakery for £4 in Tesco. Tell me how I was supposed to not buy that for £4. And there's another one, but it's in my suitcase, so I'm not going to go get that. Also, got a new little light. Tell me how you feel about it. Yeah. I'm going to sit and read some more of this evening. I won't film it because my camera is dead, and I didn't bring the charging cable, nor did I bring the SD adapter for my laptop. So if you missed last week's video, you didn't, there wasn't one because of this exact issue. I'm on a work course, it's stressful, we'll call it there. But yeah, I'm going to try and read at least another 50 pages of this evening. I'm hoping that I can get through this a little bit more quickly now that we've broken the surface, but that was the issue. I was finding it so hard to like break the ice with this book. Considering I love Katherine Center, this feels so not the Katherine Center that I fell in love with when I first read The Bodyguard. But we will see. I shall catch back up with you when I'm, a third of the way through, so I shall catch up with you about 60–65%, and we shall see how I'm feeling about the book then.
Well, hello. Hey, what are you doing? What are you doing? You was a fucker, you knew that. Ah!
Okay, so I've just finished Hello Stranger by Katherine Center, and I was skeptical for like a good portion of this book. Now, I love a slow burn. I do love a slow burn, but I most definitely was sat here thinking like, where is this going? What is happening? I got frustrated, massively frustrated, but then I always have to remember that books like this that I feel such strong emotions about is because the writing is so good. I knew I was going to like Katherine Center's books purely from the fact that I've read 2 of her others, The Rom-Commers and The Bodyguard, and I could not put them down. Now this was the only one apart from The Love Haters that I've not read of like this style of her writing, this genre, and I think I'm gonna have to rate it 4 stars. It did take me over a week to read, and I think that's because I just couldn't get into it. I've always had a lot going on with starting my new job. I am in my hotel room. This is my 2nd week here. I do get to go home on weekends, thankfully. I get to see Ben, but I am here by myself, and so I thought I'd have more time to read, but I think the exhaustion of starting a new job, having a new working pattern, like shift pattern, took its toll on me, hence the reason that I missed a week, because I also didn't take enough of my camera equipment with me to transfer some footage onto my laptop, but we won't talk about it. Anyway, so I read half of it on my Kindle and half of it physically, and having it on my Kindle actually really helped with the like dyslexic font. Not that I am dyslexic, I think I just struggle to concentrate and the font's a little bit easier for me to get to grips with. But Katherine Center's book about a woman who struggles with acquired face blindness, I won't even try and butcher the medical name for this. I really enjoyed the concept of this. Now, I will say that there was, I don't want to spoil this for anyone, surely people have read this, but I don't want to spoil it. There's 2 guys that she falls in love with. And I think I said to you from the start, like I was predicting something, and I've literally just found out that I was right. Now, the one thing I will say is that if you don't catch the subtext in this book, if you can't read between the lines, and it's not even if you can't, it is a struggle to catch the subtext of this. It is very well hidden. And at one point I questioned, like, why have we just forgotten about the other guy? And then obviously at the end it all made sense, like it was coming together, and I realised, Jess, you were right all along. I am just very good at reading patterns, and so, but I'm such an easygoing reader, so that literally didn't make a difference for me. Having read this and having now finished it, it definitely did give off the same vibes as The Bodyguard, and that's what I was hoping, because that was the very first Katherine Center book I read and I adored it. I love the slow burn, I love the closed door and how she writes closed door, because you still got all like the giddy vibes, and it's so lovely. I do love the plot and the, like the main, what's the word? I have no idea. I'm struggling. It is currently 22:41. I love the main topic of this book, the fact that it's not just like your regular romance. Like, this girl suffers with face blindness. She literally cannot even recognise her best friend. And the cutest part of it all is her little dog Peanut. He's a character, I'll tell you that. Yeah, so Katherine Center's book, Hello Stranger, definitely a 4 stars. I think I could potentially give it like a 3.75, but just the feelings of like, I knew it, and how lovely this ended up being, and I mean like just genuinely lovely. 4 stars, easy 4 stars. That is the 2nd of September's TBR books done. Next up is The Baby Dragon Café by A.T. Qureshi. This has been on my TBR for quite a while, since it came out at the beginning of this year. I have literally just this week picked up The Baby Dragon Bakery, so you best believe I'm going to wait another year to read it, because it's going to be on my physical TBR for that long. Don't even tell me. Yeah, so this has been on my TBR for quite a while. I'm very excited to read it. I believe this was for the prompt, a book with a restaurant or a book with a restaurant or bakery in it. Yes, a book with a restaurant or bakery. Obviously the Baby Dragon Bakery hadn't come out yet, but this was the closest thing on my physical TBR that I could get to. I'm very excited. This is about Saphira, who owns a cafe, and Aiden, who is a gardener who owns a baby dragon. Now, Saphira's cafe is for baby dragons and she owns one, and Aiden has a baby dragon who is severely misbehaving, and her cafe's going under, and he can't train his baby dragon, and so she goes, hey, let's help each other out. Aiden helps her cafe, pays her to train his baby dragon, I believe. Something of the sort. I haven't really looked at it. I hope this is going to be a quick read, I'm not going to lie. Hello Stranger took me a little bit longer than I expected, but I'm now getting into the new work routine, so hopefully we can get onto this. I shall speak to you once I've gotten into this a little bit. Okay, excuse my state. I've just finished for the day, had my shower, done the gym, whatever, but I thought I would come on and tell you about the Baby Dragon Café, as I am 36 pages through. I predict this is going to be 3 stars. Fully predict this is going to be 3 stars, purely because it's nothing special, but it's cute and it's cozy, and I tell you, I'm already feeling it. So we've met Saphira, our female main character, and she is the proud owner of the only cafe in her area that allows baby dragons, or dragons in general, called the Baby Dragon Café. She meets Aiden, where he has a naughty little baby dragon, and I can't remember his name. Sparky, cute. And he has a baby dragon called Sparky, who is really very naughty. Now, Saphira isn't from the families that are allowed to own dragons, so she can't have one. Aiden is from quite a very well-known family, and he has one given to him by his brother, and he can't seem to let the dragon go, but they don't get along and he can't train it. Whereas Sparky loves Saphira. So that's where we're at. It's very cute, it's very cozy. It's very much Pumpkin Spice Cafe, Love Light Farms cozy, with a hint of an early Fourth Wing vibe in terms of the dragons, if that makes sense. But the dragons in this book are horse size, which is really cute. It's not reading very quick, but I also started this yesterday, but I can't, and it's stressing me out. I just want to sit down and read like half this book in one sitting, because that's what I used to be able to. I mean, the book is literally 309 pages. I mean, come off it. I leave to go back home tomorrow afternoon, about lunchtime. So tonight is about the only time that I'm going to be able to sit and read this, because I want to spend the weekend with Ben after not seeing him a week. I will probably update you when I'm halfway. I am going to spend a good amount of time reading this evening. I'm going to put some cute, cozy music on. I'm probably going to sit in the same chair that you saw me sit in my read with me that was up last week. That's a new kind of video for me, so be nice. I just thought it was really cute and cozy. I adore watching videos like that myself. They really get me in the mood to read, and I feel like it's that thing called body doubling, where like I get more done when somebody else is with me. So if somebody else is reading too, I'm more inclined to sit down and read. So I'll catch up with you probably when I'm halfway. Let's say when I get to chapter 14, that's 162, that's just over halfway. I'm on chapter 4, so I've got 10 chapters. Let's do this. So, The Baby Dragon Café by A.T. Qureshi. As you can see, I'm not finished yet, but I do have a few thoughts, that's for sure. We are on page 260 of 313. 309, correction. I'm not finished yet, but I think I spoke to you literally 30 or so pages into the book, and so I feel it's probably time for an update. Now, it's taken me probably just over a week to read this. I will finish this tonight, I have less than 40 pages left, but it's taken me just over a week to read this. Mainly because new job, busy, stuff to do. Sue me, I'm focusing on my career. Also, it's not quite as gripping as I thought it would be. Now, first point I have to say about this, and I'm a little bit disappointed, is that the writing style is incredibly simple. And by that I mean it very much feels like a book for someone still in high school, secondary school. I feel like when I was in year 9, that the way that it's written is incredibly simple. Not to say that the plot isn't interesting. I very much feel it gives off the same vibes as the Pumpkin Spice Cafe quadruplet. Yeah, because there's 4 books now. In the sense that we've got the Baby Dragon Café, and the next book is the Baby Dragon Bakery, and the book after that is the Baby Dragon Bookshop. And there's 2 characters in here that we've had an insight into their relationship that I very much feel is going to be the Baby Dragon Bookshop, the Baby Dragon Bakery. Theo and Lavinia, that is, if you've read this. I also do have the Baby Dragon Bakery, I bought it the other day. I know I said while I was on this trip for my new apprenticeship that I would not be buying any books. I have bought 2. I don't really know what to say. Like I said, I think the plot is good. I do like the plot of the book. And I think I jinxed myself when I said I really wanted a cute short romance fantasy that wasn't too high stakes and too long and daunting. And I think maybe I do just want a high stakes fantasy. I wonder if I can find a sentence to read for you that will just prove how basic this is without giving anything away. Now, I have heard of a few booktubers that have read and DNF'd this, and I can totally understand why, but I have this thing that, like, if I start a book and it's not awful, I have to finish it. Like, I have to get it off my TBR. Okay, so are you ready? The next morning, Sophia woke up a little before dawn to get ready for work. Gold bangles jingled on her arm as she changed into a yellow dress that reminded her of vanilla custard. Her stomach rumbled on cue as she loosely braided her hair back. She wondered if there were any Elachi buns left over from yesterday. Sophia had hardly slept last night, so maybe breakfast would revive her. She was hardly ever functional before her morning caffeine fix. Very short, simple sentences. And although, yes, it's easy to read, it is a little jarring. I'm not gonna lie. But because the writing is so simple, it feels very simple. Now, I could totally be wrong, and this could be a YA, hence the reason it's so simple. But I don't think it is. Now, I'm gonna finish this, and I guarantee you it's going to be no more than 3 stars, possibly even a 2 point. I'm not gonna, there's literally no point in me filming me read this, or the last 40 pages, because I literally have been sat there like this. And that's just not interesting for anyone. It's not garnered any type of real deep emotion from me. But the one thing I will say is that having read something so simple, I guess it has kind of given my brain a break. And so I'm very excited to read next The Temple of Swoon by Joe Segura, which will probably be in next week's TBR Takedown video. I'm a bit upset that this is the book that we're ending my very first TBR Takedown on. I'm not gonna lie. Not Quite Dead Yet was absolutely fantastic. Hello Stranger by Katherine Center, I loved, but like, having had the time to think about it, was not the be all and end all compared to like the rom-coms or The Bodyguard, which I did absolutely adore. But I guess we all read books like this, don't we? We all read books that we think like, was that worth my time? And like, I know I'm gonna put this down and be like, I read it. Yeah, I read it. What about it, you ask? I don't know, but I read it. That is where I'm at with this. So obviously we're not at the end yet. I feel like we hit our 3rd act conflict halfway through the 1st act, maybe even our just beginning of the 2nd act, I could be wrong. And so I'm a bit confused that we're less than 40 pages from the end, and all there's been is a little bit like, she doesn't belong in the community, she's not from the Dragon family. And every so often Sophia is like, oh god, like, I'm just so insecure. And Aiden's like, no, you so belong, you belong. And she's like, yeah, okay, yeah, I belong. The simpleness of the writing has unfortunately leaked into the plot. I think I put too much onus on this book to be better than it is. I think I put too much pressure on it. I guess that's my own fault, but hey ho. Wow, what a bunch of books. Yes, I am sat in the exact same position you saw me in the intro, because it is literally 10 seconds since I filmed the intro. Let's talk about these books. I don't even know if I gave you an update on Not Quite Dead Yet, but that's totally okay, because we're gonna do that now. Now, this is Holly Jackson's newest release. It is actually an adult thriller compared to her other YA or new adult books. Thoroughly enjoyed this. The one thing I will say though is that I'm not gonna lie, I was just a little bit disappointed by the ending, purely because I have this awful sense of justice, like need for justice, and I feel like it just didn't quite happen. I'm not gonna spoil anything for those who haven't read it yet, because it's not been out all that long, maybe like 2-3 months. But what I will say is that every single Holly Jackson book I pick up, maybe minus the reappearance of Rachel Price, has been phenomenal in its own right, and I would not say this was a waste of time by any means. The writing is so perfectly Holly Jackson style. Could not put it down. Also, loved reading a hardback. I haven't read a hardback in ages, and it was actually so nice to just sit and read a hardback for once and like have it in my hands, and I know that I've got to be not the only person that thinks that. I definitely did download it on my Kindle too. But yeah, I believe I gave this a 4.5/4.75 out of 5 stars, and I don't even need to explain myself. Holly Jackson's books have got better and better, minus the reappearance of Rachel Price. Very happy with this one. The way that she writes her characters and the way that she manages to like pull emotion out of me. If she's written this character so well that I absolutely hate this character, great. I also love the fact that we kind of could have guessed, but also at the same time, We were thrown a lot of red herrings, which I kind of liked. I really kind of liked because it kept me guessing. It meant that I didn't get too bored. It wasn't all that obvious. Our first book off our physical TBR is Holly Jackson's Not Quite Dead Yet. Funnily enough, this was actually, at the time of filming this video at the start, was one of my newest books on my TBR, and now I have 3 more. We won't go there. Second up was Hello Stranger by Katherine Center. I do love a bit of Katherine Center. Her closed door romances are my favourite closed door romances to read. I think I did explain to you quite a lot because I talked a lot about this book. You didn't really see me read it all that much, so I won't say all that much. I do remember getting to the end of this book and just feeling like happy, giddy, kind of like, oh, what a lovely little ending. I was a bit confused halfway through, and I think I did explain why. I did guess what was happening in this book. If you don't read between the lines of this, I have a feeling it could be quite confusing about what's going on. But what I will say though is this read like a Katherine Center book, just like The Rom-Comers, just like The Bodyguard, because I believe this was around the same time as The Bodyguard, and I really enjoyed that book. That was my first of her books. I think the last one I've got to read is The Love Haters, and if that's anything like The Rom-Comers, then I am sold. I believe I gave this a 3.5 out of 5. Wasn't quite 4, it was just a happy cute romance, and I'm not mad about it. Lastly, we read The Baby Dragon Café by A.T. Qureshi. This has been on my TBR since January this year. I actually thought this has been on my TBR for quite a significant amount of time longer, but I stand corrected because I did have the receipt in it. Goodness knows where that's gone now. But this one I definitely didn't give you a review on. Now I think I rated this, let's have a look. I want to say it was like 2 stars. No, I can't have been that awful about it. No, I rated it 3 stars. The one thing I will say is that I can absolutely agree with all of the other booktuber girlies that I've seen read this that have said that they've either DNF'd it, soft DNF'd it, or read the whole thing and given it pants stars. The plot is simple. The writing is even simpler. I've talked about this previously. What I will say is that if I'd have really put my time and energy into it, I could have had this done in like a day and a half, but because of work, it took me like a week. But I also think that's because I just wasn't gripped. It was a cute, cozy story. I do have the Baby Dragon Bakery to read next. Obviously the Baby Dragon Bookshop is not out yet. This was 3 stars. Honestly, if I thought about it more, it could probably be like a 2.5, but I'm not going to be that mean because it definitely gave off those like cozy fantasy vibes. The only thing I will say though is that this made me realise how much I miss high stakes fantasy and how much I am begging to get into another Cassandra Clare book. So all I can say is thank you so much for bearing with me on this tricky time, purely because I don't want to burn myself out by trying to do one of these videos every week, but then I also have to revise, but then I also have a new, like completely new schedule going on in my life, and I'm away from home all week. And so I have decided I'm going to do a read with me one week, so we'll literally just sit down and read together for half an hour, 45 minutes, an hour, whatever. And then the next week will be an actual sit-down video where I'll talk to you about the books I read and you'll see what I'm reading, purely because, like I said, I do not want to burn myself out. Now I want to say thank you to everyone who has stuck around and commented and liked and been there throughout this new point in my life. I know I've not documented it much, but hopefully soon, once I'm getting back into that routine, when I'm further into my like 12-week induction, I will kind of get back on track. It's just a very big period of change for me at the moment, considering I've been in the last job I had for 1.5 years, and then before that I was at university for 5 years. So some could say I have my first big girl job. Who knows? If you liked today's video and if you are interested in this TBR Takedown series, then please give me a like, give me a subscribe, give me a comment, literally comment anything down below if you have anything to say about the books I've read, or you have anything to say about any of the books that I have mentioned that are on my physical TBR, or you can see here whether I've read them or not. Please tell me about them because I love to hear your guys' opinions on what's going on, especially with the books I read in the book community. Sometimes I feel like I'm not in the loop enough. That is on me. But I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of the week, and I shall see you in next week's video for a lovely little read with me. Oh my god, I thought I just saw a spider. Whoa.